Good morning, Tula here. Today I'm coloring the mandala we've just seen with my colored pencils. Before I get to what I did here, I have to say this video is a little different than I usually make. I edited it to cut in lots and lots of bits of the process, and none of it is in time-lapse. I don't like time-lapse personally, and speed painting, I think it's important to see that these are long processes that take time, but I did try to shorten it for you so you will not die and pull your hair off in front of YouTube. Anyway, I would love to know if you like or if you don't like this sort of editing, so I can either do it or not do it like this again. So I am coloring this ginkgo leaves mandala, and you will see later that I have a different version of this that is very lightly colored, and I wanted to have a completely different look in this one, so I went for bold colors, just the purples and the pinks. Even the reddish brown that you see in the lines, that's from the purple and the orange, probably, I can't remember now. Oh, this color is magnificent, isn't it? The yellow. I did a light purple wash of watercolor underneath the purple bits, and the rest I left as it is. I've started it a while ago and did all the, I call them windows, the dark purple windows and the ginkgo leaves themselves, and now I'm going on with the flowers and later on with the background. Oh, this is the Pro Marker blender, and this is a tip I picked up from Christy Partridge. She has a YouTube channel and she mentioned this in one of her videos, and I thought, oh, we have this kind of blender in the shop, I'll try it. And it smooths it blends colored pencils, either wax or oil based, very, very well, as you can see. And I managed to get rid of the white bits, which I really don't like. I know it's silly because I like the colored pencils, but I like them smooth. It's like magic the way you get such an even coverage. I'm using here both my Polychromos, Faber Castell Polychromos, and the Caran D'ache Luminance. They work very well together. There is a difference between them, I think. The Faber Castell Polychromos I find are more transparent, so it's a completely different effect layering either kind of pencil. One will give you a more opaque, the Caran D'ache Luminance gives you a bit more opaque look, and the Polychromos you can layer just to get hints of color built up on top of each other. I hope this skipping is alright. I try to keep my hand in the same position and not have the changes too abrupt, but I did want you to see how many stages go into everything. And while I repeat a lot because it's a mandala design, there's also freedom in it, I find, because when I make an initial shape, when I draw it, or later on when I color, I try out things that are just a bit different from each other, and I see what works well, and then I replicate that. I wanted to give more depth to the center of to the petals in the center of the flower, so that we'll get a feeling like they're curling. And I'm working on my lap, so sometimes you see the paper moving around a bit. I apologize for that. Just really comfortable sitting like this. A bit of white. And now I cover it with the orange, the light orange. Was very sad this morning. I thought it was Saturday and that we're still in the weekend, and now it's Sunday already, which is the day I get off at the shop, and that I dedicate to my own projects. I have so many of them, my God. I'm in a constant fight with time, to gain time. I feel that my own projects are so neglected. The list is endless and it just keeps growing, and I can't get enough done. It's really, really frustrating. But I was in a wonderful mood yesterday, coloring. In some parts I really got into my zone. I had some music in the background, very lightly because I recorded myself, but I was using my new microphone, and it makes me sound like I'm in a closed tank. So the voice is very muffled and not too happy with the sound quality of the mic so far. I'm glad I didn't invest a lot of money in it. Okay, so now I'm showing you the design, just the outlines. This I brought from the shop. I made this design. And this is the one that I colored differently. I colored this one first, of course, and I really love how it came out. I like the delicateness of the colors. I usually go for much stronger tones. I did some watercolors in the background, the light blue and the browns, and well, everything I colored with watercolors first, very light washes. And then I went on with aquarelle pencils, but I used them dry. I like using them dry. And I love the transitions of the colors in the pinks and oranges into the browns and greens. I really like how it came out. And you can see that the result, I think, looks very, very different. I intentionally made the windows in the new one a dark shade to get a different kind of effect. And it's interesting how just with different coloring you can get a completely different result. So I'm using just 4 pencils, well, a bit of white as well, so 5 pencils. And here I'm coloring the inside of the flower. I wanted to get a feeling that the petals are, yeah, just like I did, curling in. So I'm going to have lighter color in the tips and darker purples in the perimeter to give this feeling of folding in. I added this different kind of purple and it came out a little too pinkish. I'll cover it later with a lavender sort of shade. And here we go with the darker tone now on the outside. I never take these pencils as far as I can, so it seems, and I did in this coloring, and it's incredible the amount of pigment in these pencils. Well, both of them. Oh, hold on. You can get a really thick and dense coverage with them. It was incredible to see. You will see it later. You'll see bits very soon and later on. So I'm just coloring the outside and sometimes going more lightly and sometimes a little heavier, depending on how much color I want to get. And when I look at the mandala as I work on it, when I work on the mandala as I color it, I see it a little differently than you do in the close-ups. I don't see all the tiny white spots, and they are only revealed to me on camera, and I don't like them. I don't like the white bits, so I really try to cover them. Now with this light purple, I can get rid of a bit of the pinkness of the other pencil. What I want here is the feeling of depth, the artichoke look. Carciuffo. Carciuffo is an artichoke in Italian. It's a nice word. Carciuffo. I'm sorry that my hand makes a bit of a shadow on the page. The light is coming mostly from the door, and that's to my left in this position. That's why we also get so much background noises always. Oh, here's a car. Okay, now I'm deepening the cleavage of the inner petals to enhance the feeling of depth, and you can see these white spots that I was talking about that I really try to get rid of. It was really interesting with both. Oh, okay, sorry, I'll get to that later. Now, if you see this line I have in the middle, I want to continue this feeling of depth here. I want to make the outside, the line I'm working on, to be light. Okay, now this is how I made the other one. You can see that it's completely different. with a white ring, light ring, and then the orange. And here I want to do something different. I want the outside to be light and the inside to be dark, to enhance, as I said, the feeling of depth. So this takes, of course, a few layers. I'm not very patient with coloring, but I know the result I want to get, so I have to do what I can to get it. Oh, I have a phone. Sorry about that, I'm going on. Oh, I can't remember what I said. Okay, here's another tip that I picked up. This one is from Lisa at Luxury Fine Art. And she said that in between sharpening in the pencil sharpener, she uses sandpaper just to enhance the tip and not waste as much of the pencils. It doesn't replace sharpening completely, but just to get a bit of a point back, it does work, and it's easier. All the pencils I'm using are quite expensive, and it's easy to be tempted to not use them, to save them, or to use them lightly, or not to sharpen them too much. And I made the decision when I got them, especially when I got the Luminance, because they are the most expensive pencils I have. I bought a lot and I invested a lot of money in it, and I'm going to enjoy them because of that and not look at them as something precious, although they are. So my goal when I buy expensive materials is to make the most of them and to use them up as soon as possible. Well, not as soon as possible, but to use them up so I can get new ones, so they can prove worth the investment. So you can see now the effect I was going for of the darker tones toward the center with the two layers of the skirts, I call them skirts, of these circles before the petals. I'm trying to get the edge defined well and to smooth the midsection between the dark and the light. Okay, I'm adding just a bit of white to enhance the edge. I also did that in the inner skirt, I think. And this is the light purple. Okay, this is how it looks now, and I stopped and thought of what I want to do in the background, and I want to have more of the dark purples, and looking at it I decided to add the dark shades outside going towards the center. So I'm starting quite lightly, but this is going to get very, very dark soon. I intentionally left these decorative lines white because the way I made this mandala, they come from outside the rectangle of the design, and I like that they bring the white into the design. So I wanted to keep them white, and to balance the dark purple of the windows, I thought it would be good to darken the sides outside the inner design. It's a circle, but not really a circle. Okay, so I'm taking this further and using up a lot of this pencil. It's incredible the density that you can get when you really press. I was shocked. I never go this dark or dense. I don't lay so much of the color usually, and this really makes the white pop out. I like it. I think it came out very nice. So I'm deepening and deepening and deepening, and you will not see this because the memory card was full and I had to empty it, and of course it took time to move everything to the computer. I used the Pro Marker blender on the dark purple. Unfortunately, I ran out of alcohol in the blender, so it's not. Oh yeah, you can see now how dense, how nice the dark color is. And I think this is the final. Yeah, this is the final mandala. I'm sorry it's a little blurry. I added, other than the dark background, I added shading to the white lines and to the orange ginkgo leaves to enhance the feeling of depth. So any line that goes over another pretty much got some depth. And this is it. I hope you enjoyed this process, and as always I really hope that you learned something from it or got an idea or a tip that's helpful for you. And I want to make a third one. What do you think? Does it look better horizontally or vertically? I like it horizontally, but you can go either way. And I will make a third version one day. I really want to make one. But this is it for now. So thank you for bearing with me, and I hope you have a good week. Bye bye.